to Doing More. I'm Erica Cardenas, and happy National Hispanic Heritage Month. We're here in a western town called Wickenburg, Arizona, once known for its rich gold mines. Today, it's a town known for its rich Western culture. With breathtaking Sonoran desert landscape and horseback riding trails to outdoor adventure destinations, Wickenburg certainly takes pride in its Western culture. And one of the cultures it proudly celebrates is the Hispanic pioneer. Take a look.
My name is Julia Macias Brooks. I'm the Executive Director of the Wickenburg Chamber of Commerce in historic Wickenburg, Arizona, and we are the proud sponsor of Fiesta de Septiembre. For many years, the Hispanic history was lost. Nobody wanted to share it. You know, they knew that Hispanic families were miners and ranchers, but they did not know that many of these same families were school board members or first marshals or sat on the town council or were prominent businessmen. 1988 is when we figured out if we don't tell our story and we get our ancestors to share that, then we can move forward. And that's why I'm so passionate, because as a great-granddaughter of one of the early pioneers, and to be able to come back home to Wickenburg, the community I was raised in, there was destiny in coming back home 30 years ago to establish this, to get the people involved, to share their story, to create what we have today, and that's Fiesta de Septiembre. The Sonorans came north in the mid-1850s. And so they wanted to do a few things. They wanted to probably homestead, which in my case, that's what my great-great-grandfather did with a ranch. Others wanted to work for other people, whether it was, you know, the ranchers that had cattle ranches or the railroad that was establishing the rail line. A new city of Phoenix was going to happen in the few years beyond that. The same with the mines, because the gold was already found in California, but they were finding gold in the border between California and Arizona. We'll go for a long, long time. We have 7 generations of my family that is still here. We have a desire to keep Wickenburg strong. We have the people that have lived in Wickenburg a long, long time, and those that have adopted us truly see that Wickenburg is very unique. We love our Western heritage. We love our Hispanic heritage. We like to tell our story. We're authentic, and that's the difference. That you may see, you know, other communities that have the Western ties, but we still have that authenticity, especially in this historic district, and we love to say Wickenburg is the real West.
It was estimated that there are 57.5 million Latino Americans in the U.S., which makes the second largest ethnic group at 17.8% of the nation's total population. From the contributions of agriculture, government, education, science, music, television, and much more, Latinos have become a major part of the fabric of mainstream American culture. We'll be back with more on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More, where we shine a light on the good things happening in our communities across the country. Today we're at the 30th Annual Fiesta de Septiembre in Wickenburg, Arizona, to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, where we get to enjoy culture, food, music, and art. Now, did you know that our nation celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month starting from September 15th through October 15th? In fact, Hispanic Heritage Month was first proclaimed by President Lyndon Johnson in 1968 and later implemented by President Ronald Reagan in 1988. September 15th was chosen as a starting point for the celebration because it's the anniversary of independence of 5 Latin American countries: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico, Chile, and Belize also celebrate their independence in September. Now let's take a look at how the Isaac Educational Foundation and School District celebrates its community by helping every child reach their full potential.
The Heart of Isaac Community Center essentially serves as a community hub for not just the Isaac School District, but all of Maryville essentially. And we provide a variety of social services, information, and education to families that are in need or just families that want to expand their knowledge, hoping that we can support or promote a better quality of life and help their families nurture their children in a better and more prosperous future and educational journey. The first thing you'll notice when you pull up into the neighborhood is that the house is blue. It is a bright blue. And the community was very intentional about the color that was chosen. They took inspiration from the Frida Kahlo house, and they also wanted to choose a color that was visible enough so that families knew where to find the center. The second thing you will notice is that the center's name is Heart of Isaac, because essentially this center is really the heart of their community. The district had this house donated to them about 20 years ago, and it was being used as a storage facility for all of the schools. And so with that, the school district partnered with the community, which were parent leaders from each of the 11 school sites, community partners or organizations that were working in the area, local businesses, and anybody who had a will or desire to support this community. And so together they came and they developed the strategic plan for this place. We worked closely with our parents to develop them into promotores. And the promotora model is a Latin American model where you take these natural leaders from your community that are very trusted, and you give them the tools and the skills that they need to be able to provide peer-to-peer support and peer-to-peer learning.
Tenemos un lugar donde pedir recursos, ¿verdad? Entonces es muy importante para la comunidad. Por ejemplo, ahorita tenemos aquí con nosotros, entonces en lugar de estar haciendo grandes filas en el Access para estar llenando aplicaciones, pues ya aquí es más fácil, solamente vienes, llenas tu aplicación y pues ya haces la entrevista por teléfono.
We have computers here and you can come in and do your homework.
Here you can get help with Access for the children and if you need the computers or anything.
We welcome any donations from anybody that's out there watching. We really would appreciate it.
This place has really created a new narrative for our community, and that all has to do with our families. You know, our families really rolled up their sleeves and they took action.
The Heart of Isaac Community Center equips parents with the tools to nurture their child's academics and future. Plus, it provides opportunities for a child to grow through positive learning and prepares them to become future leaders. And speaking of future leaders, Cox Communications honors Hispanic and Latino leaders who have made significant contributions to better their communities in a unique way. Take a look.
You know, anytime we have a little bit of time to help out and help those that might be a little bit less fortunate than us, I think it's something that we should all do. It highlights the work that we do as employees and as a company. A lot of times I think Cox doesn't really, you know, toot its own horn with all the work that we do in the communities that we are, you know, vested in. So I think it's good to highlight individuals, because then it kind of shows that the work that we do for our communities.
As a Latina and as a single mom, I think that there is a stereotype associated with both demographics. So to be recognized for the hard work that I've put in and really being able to give back to the community, I've had my own struggles and I've had my own triumphs. So it's an honor, it's a privilege, it's absolutely surreal to be able to share with others the recognition and the achievement will only inspire more women that despite the odds, despite the stereotype, that they too can do it themselves.
The contributions of Hispanics, not just in the Southwest, but all over the country, have been huge and have really changed the face of our country. It's important to recognize those achievements, especially in a time where people are feeling disenfranchised. It feels amazing and unexpected, definitely. to know that I'm being honored with this award, and some of the other honorees that we've had in the past, it makes me feel very appreciated and honored to be counted among those.
Wanted to say thank you to Cox Communications and Hispanic Heritage. It's been, we said, 14 years that this has been going on, recognizing individuals like myself that have been trying to make this community better and make the communities that we are in better. I just want to say thanks for recognizing the work that we do.
Thank you to Cox Communications, who provides tremendous support for the entire community, all of Arizona, and does a lot to create a better place for all of us to live in, to grow in, and to raise our children in. I am honored, I am privileged, and I'm humbled by this recognition, and thank you.
Thank you, Cox Communications. Thank you for recognizing the achievements of your employees. Thank you for recognizing the importance of heritage. And thank you for making the community aware of the importance of the Hispanic heritage to what we do every day, but also to what it does for our communities every day.
Such an inspiration and reminder of how one's commitment can inspire so many. Stick around, we have much more to come on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More. I'm Erica Cardenas. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with Ballet Folclórico de Santa Maria, who's about to take the stage. Latin America is generally understood to consist of the entire continent of South America, in addition to Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean islands, where Spanish and Portuguese are the native languages. Did you know Cox Communications has been a leader in providing state-of-the-art technology to the community and honors its employees by providing them with a competitive retirement plan? Take a look.
My name is Ray Lamberty. I've been with Cox Business for 24 and a half years. I started saving for my retirement back in 1994 with the previous organization that I worked for. And then obviously when I rolled into Cox 24 and a half years ago, I began from day one maxing out the potential that I could save. Well, being a baby boomer, back in the 70s, there was all this talk of Social Security going away and pensions becoming a very rare thing. So my wife and I both decided at that point that we needed to take control of our careers and our retirement, because we didn't expect Social Security to be around and we're unsure of pensions at that point as well.
My name is Christian Acosta. I'm with Cox Communications. I'm a residential/home life technician. I've been with the company for 2 years and 8 months now. I started saving for retirement about a month ago, thanks to my supervisor, Chris Linskog. He gave me all the benefits of saving and why I should start saving, how the company matches, and not only that, but just it's a great investment for the future. I never thought about it that way, just being young and dumb, and kind of put some sense into my head. I say it has a major benefit just because I get an early advantage over some people. It's more money to my retirement compared to if I was doing this later on down the line, which would accumulate to half of what I have now. So it's a big benefit.
My name's Christopher Linskog. I've worked at Cox for about 11 years now. It's never too late to start saving, and the motivation piece of it came when I had my first child here, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough saved up in the bank to take care of my family after I can't work. One of the benefits is going to be the matching of the percentage as well, so that's huge, and that's a real big deal.
If you didn't take heed early on in your career, you may be at a loss and not be able to retire at an earlier age, or at your normal age. You may have to work well beyond that. The younger you can start, the better off you will be in the long term. You need to have goals set in your career, in your life, as to when you want to take your retirement and enjoy what you've worked all these years for.
I would tell them start now, and I would use myself as an example. I wish I would have started a long time ago, but the sooner they can start, the better.
I'm setting aside for my future, so when I don't have the ability to work as much as I do now, I'll be able to take care of myself and my family.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
I think what it's done is it's allowed us to obviously retire early and allow us to do some of the things that we've worked so hard for all these years and enjoy the retirement that we will have.
What a great Doing More story. We recently took a trip to San Diego, California to a conference that celebrated the 19th Amendment and engaged women in conversation to help shape our nation's future. Take a look.
Welcome to the first Cox Diversity and Inclusion Summit.
How do you build in diversity, inclusion, equality as you're thinking about your executive teams?
The companies that are more diverse, have representation at all levels, create inclusive environments where people's voices are heard, those companies outperform businesses that don't.
The majority of our leaders are white males. White males have to sponsor women, people of color, and gender diversity. It's imperative that that happens.
We really were focused on creating an authentic space where people could connect and have a real dialogue about what we need to do in order to continue to drive toward a place where we have real equality, in not just in our organization, but in the communities that we live and work.
It's my obligation, it's my responsibility as a leader to make sure I'm creating that environment that is inclusive, that gives people an opportunity for growth and advancement.
It's important to focus in on diversity and inclusion as an organization and as a community, because if we're not talking about it, that means we're not changing things.
It's important to build relationships, and it builds trust. And once you build trust, it builds breakthroughs.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the effect that these topics are going to have in our everyday lives. And I'm looking forward to seeing some changes.
We all have our biases, and that's not something that is wrong. What is wrong is when we don't try to do anything about it or even recognize the fact that we have any.
By actually taking the time to have a conversation, we can create change because we do it with empathy and understanding.
It was just great that we came with such open-minded perspective, and I think we all grew.
Especially being a female minority, it's really great to hear how I work for an organization that truly supports diversity.
Having a woman leader has made a difference in terms of the level of empathy, being able to have my kids and make decisions and not feel the pressure that comes with the decision to leave to go get your kids.
Events like this are important to break down those false barriers that have been put up, to address some of the fears that people have but don't talk about.
It's very important that people in the communities that we operate and serve know what our values are and what we're committed to in terms of diversity and inclusion.
We've made a little bit of progress, but there's so much more we have to do when it comes to diversity and inclusion. And for me, it's the conversation. I'm just inspired by great conversation that helps us decide how we can get where we need to go.
What an inspiring story about inclusion. It's so comforting to know that Cox Communications maintains a culture that keeps diversity at the forefront. We'll be back with more on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More. We've been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with music, food, and art here at the 30th Annual Fiesta de Septiembre in Wickenburg, Arizona. During our travels to California, we were able to attend the Cox Conserves Heroes Award program. Take a look.
I was super excited to have the opportunity to nominate Phil because Phil has taught me that conservation requires creativity. Working with kids, working behind the scenes to advocate for better policies, working with or sometimes against big giant agencies to make sure that everybody is working toward a better future of the San Diego River. I think that's something that has really transformed the future of the San Diego River.
Well, the effort to save the river began when I first came down to live in San Diego. I had finished graduate school in Seattle and I drove through Los Angeles and I saw what used to be the Los Angeles River totally under concrete, and I thought, that's the most gosh awful mess I've ever seen in my life. And when I got to San Diego, I said, yay, thank heavens the river's still here. And then I found out there was actually a plan to build an identical channel to Los Angeles's. And I said, not on my watch. I don't want to see that happen. So I became kind of the leader of the organization to make sure the channel got not built. And that was the start of my work.
Phil's a perfect example that one person can really make a huge difference. So his work, without Phil, a lot of the work that we do now on the San Diego River, youth education, citizen science, habitat recovery, none of that would be possible if this were a concrete channel. And the reason that this isn't a concrete channel is because of Phil Pride.
I've also worked with other groups to prevent dams on the Santa Margarita River, which were a Bureau of Reclamation effort there. The dams were not needed, and eventually we were able to get rid of those as well.
Phil doesn't work just here in the lower reaches of the San Diego River. His work has touched all the way up to the headwaters. We have seen lots of documented wildlife on those habitats, bobcats and mountain lions and all sorts of big animals that are moving through. And a lot of that wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the efforts of conservationists like Phil Pride.
It's a major effort of the river park to make sure that we can save it and protect it and so forth, because saving the river down here isn't going to do any good if you're destroying the backcountry. So I really like the work the organization's doing back there, and I've been delighted to help with that operation as well.
Phil's impact is seen partly just in making sure that youth have places to go through land acquisition and also land protection of areas like this. I think that Phil himself really loves working with kids and has spent a lot of time teaching kids how to use binoculars, taking them on trails, teaching them about birds. A lot of those different things are the first experience that some of those kids have, and I think those first experiences can be very transformative in resulting in lifelong conservation.
It's transformative. You can see it really just transforming them into somebody really interested.
I want to thank the Wickenburg Chamber of Commerce for having us today at the 30th Annual Fiesta de Septiembre. As civil rights activist Cesar Chavez said, we need to help students and parents preserve our culture to help strengthen our nation and community. I'm Erica Cardenas. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.